What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. And right here, we got an interesting thread. So, in this tweet by this person, talking about like the movie Leave the World Behind, which, if you haven't seen, I've seen mostly in parts because I wasn't fully paying attention throughout the whole movie, but I did see a good chunk of it. Very interesting. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it was, one second. It was one of those movies where you can clearly see the predictive programming. I mean, it's on full display there. There's absolutely no doubt about it. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. And one of the things we talk about on this channel is preparedness, right? Being prepared, and always being one step ahead. And food, water, shelter of the utmost importance. You don't realize what you need until you don't have it accessible to you. But anyways, this clip sums up this tweet, and I think it's something you have to listen to.
Understand, it's not necessary for people to believe this information in order to weaken democratic institutions. You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage. You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won.
And one of the famous quotes, and I won't spoil it, but in the scene where one of the characters, GH, talks about his primary client who works in the defense, did a cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns, and there was a program in particular that terrified the client the most, a simple 3-stage maneuver that would topple a country's government from within. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. If you watch it on Netflix or wherever it is you watch it, remember this, that I specifically mentioned that and showed you this clip of Obama. Okay? And then come back, read this, and it all makes sense. I don't want to spoil it for you. So go ahead and do that. Come back, watch this video, and connect the dots. And also, I remember seeing this part of the movie where it says, interesting choice of clothes to obey NASA. NASA was birthed after Operation that and filled with a lot of people seeking to break away civilization. So, very, very interesting. Watch it, and you'll see the predictive program, which Obama did have some input on producing that movie. So, very interesting. Now here, Charleston, South Carolina, coast see massive flooding caused by a late year storm, which, I mean, we've seen a lot of these storms causing tremendous flooding in the areas of the East Coast. So if you live in those areas, drop a comment. Let me know what it's like. Because obviously we see the videos. You know, we're not in those areas. So definitely would like to hear from you guys and see how you guys are doing out there. And what kind of damage results from this. Labor market has been slowly weakening, but jobless claims are yet to rise significantly. So remember, on this channel, we keep reiterating that the jobless claims are the last thing to go in before you hit the recession. And once that starts to accelerate, then you're going to start to see what's going on. So here we see we still haven't had that jump. So we have yet to see what will happen. something to keep in mind and keep watch of. This is a very, I like this because it kind of summarizes and conceptualizes it all. Someone in YouTube comments asked where all the money went from the 2021 stimulus and whether it will come pouring back into crypto. They don't understand that it already came and went. When you commit funds to speculation, your portfolio value becomes unrealized. Your wealth exists only with the illusory market cap value of the assets you hold. The way you leave with the same amount or more is by selling to someone else at an equal or higher price. That only happens if you're the first out the door, if you sell while others are still buying. In a downturn, only some investors leave early with their gains while others leave at break even, and many more see their unrealized portfolio values decimated. Those who do so have an outsized effect on the asset's value. Every dollar they take away destroys many more in market cap. Thus, the portfolio damage to all other holders and late sellers is a non-linear function of time. The few who get out early take some of everyone else's gains with them. The remainders take a hit on the chin to their unrealized wealth. This is what happens to all the money that gets blasted into markets after massive stimulus. It doesn't get withdrawn in full to be deployed on the next epoch. It largely gets recycled or consolidated into new hands on the way down or remains idly invested in the same assets it was initially pledged to. Cash, quote unquote, on the sidelines is a myth. So that kind of conceptualizes the market. I'll leave it to the end actually. So the Fed is making the same errors the mid-70s. In the 70s, they also thought that they had beat inflation in 74 and 75. They lowered rates and then inflation roared back to even higher levels in the late 70s. Inflation came down in early 80s because of two factors. One, we had a massive new oil energy supply from Alaska and the Gulf of Mexico, the North Sea, and huge new fields in Mexico coming online. Two, 18% interest rates crushed the economy. History may not repeat, but it rhymes. This time around, though, are we going to have massive influx of new energy coming in? I don't think so. I think they're pushing that new energy agenda. So I think that maybe this inflation peak might look pale in comparison. And how do you own nothing and be happy? You just make it unaffordable for everyone. So I think that's what's waiting for a lot of people here in the near future. And it's terrifying, to say the least. And it's something that people have to get prepared for, because it will come, and it is coming. Let's see here. According to Credit News Research, mortgage affordability today is the worst it has been since 81, when mortgage rates hit a record high of 18.38%. But how can this be when current rates are less than half that? The answer lies in a concept called mortgage burden. For the average home buyer, the mortgage burden is the ratio of mortgage payments to income. Credit News calculates it by examining the buyer's starting mortgage payment as a percentage of their inflation-adjusted annual income. The higher the ratio, the less affordable it is to own a home. So, signs of the times. Now, to get to the meat and potatoes. No, just to get into the motivational part of this, which I think is important. Can't stop thinking about this question. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? 2021, Georgia Tech strength coach Louis Corolla delivered this epic speech to the football team. If it doesn't get you motivated, you may need to check your pulse. He opens with a few harsh truths. Winning isn't loyal to you. Winning doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how hard you work. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. But it's his question that stuck with me that says, are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? The willingness to sprint with no clear view of the finish line is rare. It requires two things: a deep belief in oneself, and two, a deep belief in the mission. If you have one but not two, you won't be able to do it. If you have two but not one, you won't be able to do it. You need both. In my observation, the greatest things in life are accomplished when you're willing to sprint when a distance is unknown. The sprint to care for your loved ones in their time of need, to build something meaningful, to serve others and create positive ripples in the world. Find those rare things in life that you're willing to sprint for when the distance is unknown. That's the definition of winning. And why chase winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing. So hear this speech by the coach.
But here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. And sometimes a guy doesn't outwork you and he still wins. It isn't fair, man. Sometimes there is no justice. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? And why chase this thing called winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing. But here's what you should...
So, I'm telling you folks that no matter what, even if it seems hard at the time, do it. No one's going to see the hard work you put behind the scenes. The only thing they see is the results, and they think it happens overnight. So all that blood, sweat, and tears that you put in, will all be worth it. But you got to put the work in. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hope this has helped you guys. Hope you guys have a good rest of your week in preparation for the holidays. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next one.